Hi guys, Coach Fens here from FTP Training. This week in Friday Tips with Fens, we're going to be looking into a thing that comes up a lot with my riders, comes up a lot with riders that FTP Training coaches, and I hear it quite a lot from self-coached athletes. And as a coach, it's something which it raises its head, and I can see it from a mile off, and I have to put interventions in to stop. And what that is peaking too early. It's a common problem, and it's one that can be changed, even though you're coming into a peak condition. That you can hold that condition that little bit longer and make sure that you're just not falling off the edge of that condition by the time you come to your goal A target race. Okay, so what are the signs? The signs that I see all the time are that 8 weeks out from the target event, 7 weeks out, 6 weeks out, I'm getting notes and messages from the athletes. I am feeling absolutely fantastic. They're hitting PB numbers across multiple time durations, and they're able to handle the load, and everything's going gangbusters. Okay, that's great. Obviously, it's fantastic to hit peak performances, and it's fantastic to be getting better. But the key there is, especially as an athlete that's been training for a few years, is you're suddenly not going to make huge gains, okay? They're little incremental gains year on year. And so therefore, if you're hitting PBs, that means that the training has been effective. But if it's happening 8 weeks from the target event, there is a possibility that you're peaking too early. So what I do in a situation like that, I ask the riders to what I call sit into the sessions. This is another classic. We have a training session planned that's between 95 and 100% of threshold, and we may be doing 10-minute repeats, for instance. Now, it is absolutely the norm for a self-motivated, motivated athlete to go out there, and what do you think they're going to hit? They're going to hit 100%. They're not going to go for the 95, they're going to hit 100%. And this is often what brings that peak on early in the first place. So what I look at, as soon as I start to see this happen, is I say sit into the efforts. I don't want them hitting the peaks. I want them hitting towards the lower end of that session. Now that's going to hold and maintain condition without putting that added stress of trying to push for PBs all the time. Okay? A classic thing would be Strava segments for those that get out there and do Stravas. Trying to consistently hit new Stravas is going to bring a peak on very early, and therefore you sometimes you're just not going to be in the condition that you want to when you want to be in it. Okay, so as soon as I see it, I'll bring the athlete and I'll say, right, let's just step back a little bit. Let's reduce that intensity slightly. Let's put that little bit less stress on the system, but therefore try to maintain the current load and condition that we're on without dropping too much condition and therefore losing our form. Okay, so what I might do, bring intensity down. I might add a little more endurance back into the program during this phase. Again, that's to maintain the overall load and condition of that athlete. And then hopefully put a cap on that top performance at that moment in time. I might try and hold it for a couple of weeks, for instance. Short recovery, and then come back into work with some specific work coming back into their peak target event. Alright, so trying to hold condition is a matter of coming back off that peak intensity. Holding with and say our CTL level, trying to hold the level of condition that we have by increasing the amount of endurance work. That puts less stress on the body, holds that peak, so that then 2 to 3 weeks out from the event you can start to put the more specific work in again, and then come into peak condition for that target event. It's a common thing, guys, and if you see it, if you feel those things happening, you're not suddenly going to put on another 20 watts when you've already just hit a PB. It's just not going to happen, okay? So therefore, if that's happening and you've still got your target event quite a long way out, the old red light should be going up. What can I do about it? Sit back into those workouts. Try not to go for any more PBs at that period in time. Then reintroduce the efforts coming into a peak 2 to 3 weeks out from the event. Alright guys, I hope that helps. And I hope to see you out on the road or trail. Bye-bye.